A major Toronto condo development is up in the air as the builder is filing for bankruptcy. This is a common story we're hearing nowadays. Most famously and most recently, obviously, it happened with the One Bloor Street West, the Saberikamareh development, which was intended to be and was under construction to be the tallest residential tower within the city of Toronto and the country of Canada. And as I covered that on my other social media channels, many people noted, including myself, that was not going to be end. Well, it seems as if another major development is experiencing the same turbulence. Before we get into it though, hello everyone, welcome to the first video on my new channel, the Toronto Precon Connoisseur. If you know me from YouTube, you probably know me from other channels such as SaberiSixRealEstate, where I make Toronto and GTA real estate market videos. On that channel, obviously, I used to do pre-construction previews and videos on the pre-construction sector, along with assignments and development news. But I thought going into the new year 2024, I would take the pre-construction oriented content and put it on an entirely different channel. So thank you very much for joining this new channel, subscribing, following, and watching this video. You can expect pre-construction previews and reviews to come. If you're not familiar with my other channel, go and check that out as well. Obviously, that is my main channel, a lot of informative, interesting content there as well. And if you don't know me altogether, my name is Sam, a Toronto and GTA real estate agent, actively working within the Toronto and GTA real estate market. As always, my contact information in the description box. But let's get to the point of today's video, which is the latest development that is experiencing or has been rumored to experience talks of bankruptcy. Which development am I talking about? Well, the M2M Condos. There's no doubt about it that you've definitely seen this development site if you've ever been recently within the last 3 to 4 years into North York, particularly just north of Finch Station. For context, the project is called the M2M Condos. It was intended to be 4 residential towers, and currently already phase 1 of the project is complete, with one of the towers nearly completed and finished. In fact, they have removed the service elevator from outside of the building, indicating that most likely the elevator inside the building is complete. Let's review the project a little bit more in depth before we talk about the latest news with regards to the builder filing for bankruptcy within the States. The project itself, as I previously mentioned, lies just north of Yonge and Finch, mainly Finch Station, the major intersection that is between Steeles and Finch. If you don't want to think of the major intersection of this project as Yonge and Finch, which is what most people are familiar with, you can think of it as Yonge and Comer Street. And of course, we know in the future there's a plan for a Comer subway station once the Finch line, the yellow line, gets extended further north to Comer, Steeles, and even Richmond Hill. And if you know anything about the Toronto and GTA real estate market with regards to the North York market, as I've discussed on my other channel, you know that North York is one of my favorite areas, particularly Yonge Sheppard, Yonge Finch, Bayview Sheppard. And Yonge Sheppard, Yonge Finch, and Bayview Sheppard are some of the most densely populated areas with regards to building, units, housing, and people, whereas Yonge and Steeles not so much. That is going to have its own massive amounts of development coming in the coming years. Nonetheless, though, this was a huge lot that used to be a strip mall. I know that for a fact because when I was new to Canada, when I was very young in grade 4, that strip mall is where my father took me to buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards, funny enough. But obviously, this large lot just north of Finch Station at Yonge and Comer was purchased, and initially public release for sales and VIP release for sales occurred in June of 2018. So that's when this pre-construction project, the M2M Condos, went on sale in 2018. The original estimated occupancy was March of 2023. Of course, we know that did not happen and things got extended to March of 2024. At the time of recording of this video, by the way, it is January 3rd, 2024. So as part of phase 1, 2 towers have been nearly and completely constructed. Well, it looks like now phase 2 and phase 3 of this pre-construction project is kind of up in the air. Why do I say that? Well, December 20th, right before the holiday season, and a lot of people did not pick up on this, excluding those who actually purchased in the project or agents who were involved with the project. It seems as if the builder of this project, which I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name, I believe it's called Aoyuan or Aoyuan. Nonetheless, this developer is a Chinese developer which builds in Toronto, Vancouver, and they also have their US and American developments as well. But in Canada, they're mostly and exclusively active in Vancouver and Toronto. Well, they filed for Chapter 15 bankruptcy on December 20th, according to this Bloomberg article. I believe that was when the press release was released on the behalf of the company. And of course, as always, when a company or a person even files for bankruptcy, it has to do with high amounts of debts and debts that are probably going to go unpaid because the company is most certainly incapable or claiming to be incapable of paying those debts. In this article itself, the company claims that they've decided to file for bankruptcy to not pay these debts in order to, and I quote off my phone not to get the quote wrong, but to preserve its limited cash resources and maintain fairness among all of its creditors pending a holistic debt restructuring. So I'm not in high finance, obviously, right? But some are claiming that they're doing this to buy time for debt restructuring purposes. Of course, that's what the company is hinting towards as well. And obviously, if that is the case, investors and purchasers of the units that are to come in phase 2 and phase 3 will most likely still get their units delivered to them. At least this route of them just buying time to reconstruct your debt or do whatever they have to do with according to their finances. Once again, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in how these companies and developers on this massive scale operate in terms of their debt reconstruction. But if that is indeed the case, then there's a higher chance, there's more optimism with regards to investors actually getting the units they purchased. However, there's also a risk that does not happen, and the bankruptcy calls for liquidation of all assets, particularly in their Canadian sector. And that presents its worst case scenario for investors and purchasers of this project, particularly in phase 2 and phase 3. Now, most often, fingers crossed, what ends up actually happening is the project goes into receivership. So in this case, what that would mean is this Chinese developer of the M2M condos would sell off the remaining portion or the entire project of phase 2 and phase 3 to another developer to complete. This actually even happens at the mom and pop level. A lot of times in high interest rate environments, what you end up seeing is listings of homes, custom built homes that are halfway through construction. So they only have the framing down, but none of the face of the property has been built. The inside's not done yet. You actually do end up seeing a lot of halfway built custom homes put on market. So that happens at the small, minuscule level of mom and pop builders building any lot on any given street, selling it halfway through the development because they can't finish it or they don't have the funds to finish it or they just want to cut their losses, all the way up to this large level of major developments and projects such as the M2M condos. Once again, referring back to the one Bloor, that's exactly what happened with that project, where that project went into receivership with Sam Mezrahi still being allowed to be at the helm of the project. At least that's with regards to the most recent updates we have. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and definitely do subscribe to this channel, this new channel of mine, for all Toronto development, Toronto pre-construction related news and reviews. The main thing on this channel going forward is not just the news items, but also the reviews of the projects where I go through price lists and I go floor plans and I give you my thoughts and opinions on the projects. For reference, you can check out my pre-construction previews and reviews on my main channel to see what I'm talking about. Anyways, as always, this is Sam from SaberiSixRealEstate, now the pre-con connoisseur on this channel. My contact information in the description box. Feel free to get in touch with any further questions you may have. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.